And welcome to the first video installation of Frigi-Tech in a residential home unit. Today we're going to be working with the 8-ounce charging cylinder, and we're going to be installing in a 5-ton R22 system here at this house. So one of the first steps that we do is when we enter the house, we want to go ahead and drop the temperature about 10 degrees from where the thermostat was originally set at. In this case, it was set about 80 degrees. Outdoor temperature right now is a typical Houston day at about 95 degrees and easily 80% humidity. So now that we've got the temperature dropped 10 degrees, we want to do this because this is going to ensure that the compressor is going to stay running while we do the installation of Frigi-Tech. And the installation of Frigi-Tech in this type of application should really be no longer than about 3 to 5 minutes. Now, while we're inside, let's go ahead and also take a reading of the delta T. This is the temperature difference between the return and the supply air vent. So first we'll start down here with the return. And here we're measuring 76 degrees, 75.9 degrees. Now we're going to measure the supply temperature. So here the supply temperature is saying 57.1 degrees is the coolest temperature that it maxed out. So you can tell we've already got a really good delta T on this unit. That's because it's only a year old. It's actually less than a year old. So in this type of application, Frigi-Tech is going in for the preventative maintenance side of things, not necessarily for the energy saving side of things. So now that we've got our delta T readings, let's go ahead and go outside and we'll work on the installation of Frigi-Tech into the unit. Okay, now that we're back outside by the condensing unit, we've already got the thermostat turned down 10 degrees to ensure that the compressor is going to remain running. And this is so that we don't have an issue that can come up called slugging the compressor. But what slugging the compressor is the compressor is designed to compress refrigerant gas. It is not designed to compress a liquid. So when installing Frigi-Tech, the compressor needs to be running so that we have refrigerant gas going with the liquid, and that acts as a buffer and a cushion as Frigi-Tech enters into the compressor. If it was not running, then we would have a solid refrigerant line filled up with oil, and when the compressor turned on, it would be attempting to compress a liquid, which is not good for these systems. But the first thing that we need to do when we arrive to the unit is let's check and see what kind of condition it's in. One of the simplest ways to do that is to check the filter. This is a filter dryer, and it's designed to catch not only moisture that enters the system, but other contaminants that might enter in as well. So with our infrared thermometer gun, I see we have a max temperature at 85.5 degrees. Now we need to go to the other side of the filter. Here, we're at 82.8 degrees. The guideline for this filter is anything with more than a 5-degree temperature difference indicates that there's something wrong, that the filter has been contaminated, either by too much moisture, but most likely by contaminants into the system. Since we're within that 5-degree temperature range, this lets us know it's okay and the unit's in good working order. Likewise, we've had the unit serviced less than a month ago, and so I know all the refrigerants and all the specifications are up to spec by determination of the superheat method. So now let's go to install the Frigi-Tech into the system. First, I'm going to start with my Ryobi electric caulk gun. You can see I have a notch dremeled out. That is so the tail end of the graduated 8-ounce cylinder will fit directly in there, and I'll be able to measure out exactly how much Frigi-Tech I need. Since this is a 5-ton unit, it's been determined it's going to take 5 ounces of the Frigi-Tech. Now, I've already loosened up my protective cap over the Schrader valve, so I'll just hand loosen it now. Place my cap here. Now, we need to purge the atmospheric air that's inside this refrigerant line, because we don't want to have any outside air inside of this system. So we want to do this nice and slow until we get a little oil coming out, and that we have. Now, I will take this and unscrew the depressor and protective cap that I have built in. Now I'm going to install this onto the Schrader valve. Again, once this is installed, you will know which line to install in, because it'll either be a big fat pipe or a little skinny pipe. We always want to go on the fat pipe. That's the low side service port. Here I have my graduations, and I simply pull the trigger, and we've got a 1/2 ounce in, 1 ounce, 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5. Now all we simply need to do is disconnect it from the low side service port, attach our protective cap back in, attach the cap back onto the low side service port, it's always a good idea to carry some trusty rags with you. I like to use paper towel or oil absorbent napkins, just in case we make any messes. That's very good and snug and tightened up. And that completes the actual installation of the Frigi-Tech in a 5-ton condensing unit using the 8-ounce cartridge. Okay, now that we've completed the actual installation of Frigi-Tech on the outside unit, now we've come back inside into the glorious air conditioning, and what I like to do is check the delta T again. You can't get a true delta T reading unless that unit's been running for a little while. So use this as a comparison to where you started at and now where you're ending up at. So here, we'll check our return. And we're sitting right at 70 degrees for a return. Now we're going to go back up to our supply. I'm showing 52 degrees. So that is right at an 18-degree delta T, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now again, this is a new unit, so it's operating exactly like it should. 18 to 20 degrees is the optimal delta T that you'd like to find. As these units start getting older, they'll get a 7% loss of efficiency their first year, 2% each year after that, due to oil fouling. So the older that unit is, the more oil fouling it's had, the greater impact that that oil acting as an insulator on those heat exchangers, is going to impact that delta T. And Frigi-Tech is designed to restore that system back to what it was when it was new and give you a much greater extended lifetime. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any suggestions of other videos you would like to see in regards to Frigi-Tech, please let us know. Thank you.